Bienvenidos a Microsoft Sessions, el nuevo ciclo de sesiones virtuales donde discutiremos las últimas tendencias empresariales. Mi nombre es José Manuel Gómez y soy el Managing Director del sector comercial para clientes corporativos de Microsoft Latinoamérica. Hoy estamos conectando a más de 18 países en Latinoamérica. En esta oportunidad hablaremos sobre el nuevo modelo de ventas en la era digital y contaremos con la presencia de Peter Hinsen, líder intelectual especializado en el impacto de la tecnología en nuestra sociedad. Peter es un eminente orador mundial y autor del libro The Network Always Wins, quien estará con nosotros hoy para hablarnos sobre cómo la era digital está transformando las empresas y cómo la innovación es clave en esta nueva era. También estará participando con nosotros Hayden Stafford, vicepresidente mundial de ventas de la división Microsoft Business Solutions, quien nos estará contando cómo Microsoft responde a esta nueva dinámica en el mundo digital. Y también nos acompañará el señor Carlos Lerma, de Alestra, uno de nuestros clientes estratégicos en México, quien se sumará a la conversación para contarnos cuáles eran sus desafíos, cómo adaptó su modelo comercial y qué resultados obtuvieron al implementar la solución de productividad de ventas de Microsoft. Los invitamos a enviarnos sus preguntas y comentarios utilizando la ventana con el símbolo de pregunta que se encuentra en la parte inferior izquierda de su ventana. Las estaremos respondiendo a medida que finalicen cada una de las charlas. Trataremos de responder la mayor cantidad de preguntas y aquellas que no alcancemos a responder durante la sesión serán respondidas al correo electrónico con el que usted se registró. Demos la bienvenida a Peter Hinsen, que nos estará contando su visión acerca de la innovación en ventas en esta nueva era digital. Hi Peter, and thank you for being with us today.
My pleasure.
Welcome to the new Microsoft Sessions, and thanks for taking the time to share with us your vision on innovation with us today. The world is changing faster than ever, and these new rules in the market, consumers are having zero tolerance for failure. They expect to be connected all the time, and the impact is tremendous. Can you please share with us your vision on innovation on this new digital era and how companies need to adapt while being hit by the digital revolution?
Sure, I'm more than happy to.
Okay.
So this is a strange world we live in because technology used to be special and now technology has become completely normal. And this is something that I've been writing about, thinking about, and observing for a very long time. But it's strange because I come from the old normal when technology was special, and I think you come from the old normal as well. But today we have a new generation that comes from the new normal, where for them technology is just a normality. And that's exactly what we've seen happening in the last couple of years. And I think we're on an S-curve. So I think we're maybe halfway there in the transition from old normal to new normal. And I think in the old normal, things were simple because technology was about giving people stuff to make their lives a little bit better or a little bit easier. But today, technology is way beyond that. Technology is changing very rapidly. Technology is changing our lives every single day. If I take this away from you, you can't function. Huh? You can't read, you can't do email, you can't book a flight, you can't do your home banking. This has become really core to what you are. And I think this is the fundamental shift that we now see. This is scary. Because, coming from the old normal, I always have an old normal reflex to look at this. I have two children. I have a 12-year-old boy and a 16-year-old girl. You have kids as well, right?
I have 3.
How old are they?
They are 12, 9, and 4.
Wow. They're completely new normal. I'll tell you a story. So my 16-year-old daughter, I was home a while ago, and there was a problem with her laptop. And I am also the official sysadmin of the Hinsen family, so I have to fix things. So my daughter comes home, and she says, Dad, there's a problem. So I open up her laptop, and I see that on her Outlook icon, she has 1,734 unread mails. Now, I don't know how you react if you have 1,734 unread, but I freak out. So I freak out and say, Ida, you have 1,734 unread mails. And she takes the laptop, she opens Outlook, she does select all, delete, and she says, problem solved. Now that's a completely different way of looking at the problem. And what you see is this next generation behaves differently with information. And I think they are the prototypes of a new generation of customers. I don't think there is such a thing as digital natives. I think this is a dumb idea. But I think this next generation are network natives. And I think this is fundamentally different. We're beginning to live in a world where we are constantly connected. We're constantly in the network. And customers are at the heart of a network of information. You have a mobile phone?
Sure.
Yeah, do you have it on you?
Yeah.
I mean, if I would take away your mobile phone, you would feel relatively naked. Because this has been, it's almost an extension of our bodies now. It shows that consumers today check their phone more than 250 times a day. Just me talking about it makes the people who are watching this want to reach out and check their mobile phones right now. People are never more than a meter away from their mobile phone, even in the house. So we're not just constantly connected to the network, we're actually constantly giving off heat of the network. The networks are becoming alive. The networks are beginning to flow. And I think this is a fundamental transition. This is no longer a digital world. This is a digital networked world. And what is happening as a result is consumers are living in a network of information. And if they make a decision on whether to buy something, they are constantly going to be checking things. They're constantly going to be figuring out how this network is going to feed them. And I think that's a fundamental transition. And I think it's important, certainly in a sales context, to try and figure out how can you actually make sense of that information. And that is really difficult. But it's a necessity if you want to survive. Let me give you a practical example. In the consumer space, one of my favorite examples is Disney. If you look at Disney, I don't know if you've been to Disney World, but if you go to Disney World, you get a little bracelet that you wear, the Magic Band, and it's all you need in the park. You open the door of your hotel with the Magic Band, you go to Space Mountain with your Magic Band, you buy a burger, a hat, a T-shirt, all with your Magic Band. I took my 2 kids there. It took them 2 seconds to figure out why this was useful. I got a very interesting bill at the end of the day. But the fun thing is, for a whole day, you don't need a keys or credit cards or wallets. All you need is the Magic Band. Now, for Disney, this is amazing because Disney now has 48 million people who carry this around. 48 million information trails that Disney can use to analyze and optimize the hotels, the restaurants, the theme parks, the merchandising. They figure out how people are consuming their products because of the information. Now, that's still a physical thing. But we're now living in a world where in this age of information and networks, everybody is giving off heat. Everybody is actually giving off information. And the clever companies are starting to exploit that. The really clever companies are starting to listen to their customers online. They're starting to understand what they want to do. They're starting to figure out how they can actually be proactive in using that. And that is a fundamental difference. So for me, it's quite simple. We used to live in the world of digital. Now we live in the world of network digital. And that puts it one step beyond. If I make one analogy, is that it's like a pond or a lake turning into a river. And I think we've always looked at customers as, we need to find out information about customers. If we want to be good at selling to customers, we need to understand customers. And what do? We built CRM systems. We built customers where we built databases of customers where we stored stuff about customers. But that is very old school, because what you typically do is you build a lot of reservoirs of information, but most of that is very, very static. And I think in the age of networks, what has happened is information has started to flow. Information has turned into a river. And if you really want to understand how to talk to customers in the age of networks, you have to learn the language of the river. And that's a fundamental thing. It's almost going from a static concept to a fluid concept. And if you really want to understand your customers, you need the full picture in order to be relevant. Now, this is scary because for most companies, it means that it's not just about using technology. It's about changing how they work. It's about changing how they think. It's about changing how they organize themselves. And, I'm more than curious to see how Microsoft as well is tackling that, because every single company now is having to use technology not to make it a little bit better, but really to survive. And that's a fundamental flip. For me, in the world of markets and marketing, it basically means that the markets disappear and markets turn into networks. Markets turn into networks of information. And if you still want to be relevant, you have to understand the customer in that sea of flowing information. And that's a big shift. It basically means that there is no average customer anymore. The average customer died in the 20th century. You're not an average customer because you are a unique customer. And this is scary because most companies in the past, what they try to do is label you. They try to figure out who you are and they put you in a label because you have 3 kids and you probably drive a Volvo and you like Mad Men. I don't know, but they try to label you. That's wrong. That doesn't work anymore. You are now a unique customer. And if you listen really careful to the information that is out there about you, you would be able to understand the unique customer and not the average customer. So this is fundamentally different because what we have to do is figure out how to actually really be relevant for customers when markets become networks. For me, I don't think this is going to happen if companies don't change as well. Today in many companies you have a sales department and you have a customer service department, and in many, many companies they're silos. In many companies you have departments. The worst thing is some companies even call them divisions. They divide companies. But how can you be relevant in a world where information becomes so fluid if you don't actually start to connect the dots inside your organization? And this is a fundamental challenge that many companies have. I work a lot with big corporations, and big corporations used to be really good because they were big. Now big corporations are horrible because they are big. Because you have divisions and silos and everything is compartmentalized. And who understands the customer? I mean, if you're a salesperson, you go out on a sales call and you only have your sales data, there might be vitally important customer service data because that customer might be really angry at you. You don't even know about it. They might have some issues in legal or in accounting or in finance or in customer service. And I think what we need to do in the companies that matter in the future is put that all together. What we need to do is, I'll put it very simply, if the outside world becomes a market and if customers live in a sea of information, then the inside of company has to be as liquid and as fluid in order to be agile. And that's a big challenge because most companies today just aren't fast enough. They're not liquid enough. They're not capable of handling information the same way as is now the norm on the outside. I'll give you a very practical example. In the world of marketing, in the last 5 years, we've realized that. If you're a marketeer, then you understand that you need to use technology because if you want to understand the customer, you have to be data-driven. Everything you want to know about your customers, data-driven is absolutely the norm. But on the inside companies, you have a lot of information that is still bottled up in silos and, oh, there's a SharePoint about that, or there's a file server about that, or a CRM system. What we have to figure out is we have to take the fluidity of the outside world and actually turn that into the fluidity inside organizations. And that's the only way I think companies will survive. Yeah, finally, and I think this is something that I really think companies should take very seriously, is that we talk about innovation. We talk about technology to make things better and more efficient, and it's all good. Huh? But now we're living in a world where technology is getting a little bit of a nasty side. Technology used to be good for a very long time. Now all of a sudden technology is getting a little bit of a bite. It's getting an edge. I spend at least half of my time out in Silicon Valley, in San Francisco, in the Bay Area. And that was funny because it's where all those technology companies were founded. Now what you see is it's not about technology anymore. It's about changing entire business models. And I think what we're now beginning to see is we feel the power of technology, but in a negative way. It's the dark side of technology. We see the disruptive power of technology. And I think this is something we have to take very, very seriously. I mean, I know you work with banks, I work with banks, but maybe the next competitor of a bank is not the other bank anymore, but some 26-year-old kid with a hoodie in Silicon Valley. Insurance companies are being disrupted by technology. The media industry has already been disrupted by technology. And what we're now beginning to see is industry after industry is being attacked by small agile, aggressive disruptors who are out to eat their lunch. And I think if companies want to survive, they need to figure out how they can take the speed of the disruptors, how they can take the power of technology to their advantage. Today, I still see many, many corporations who have IT departments which are very removed from the business. They have technology departments which were there to make things more efficient and more cheap. But now they have to use technology to actually figure out how to turn that into a business advantage, how they can disrupt maybe their business and be the leaders in this race for disruption. And I think those are three fundamental things that companies have to take very, very seriously. First of all, markets become networks. So if you want to be relevant for customers, you have to learn the language of the network. Two, companies have to become more agile and fluid. If companies want to be fast enough, responsive enough, if the outside world becomes a network, then companies have to become a network as well. They have to become data-driven. And three, I think this is essential. Business models are changing at a breakneck pace. We now see more change in many industries in the next 10 years than we've had in the last 50 years. So if companies want to survive, if they want to be truly innovative, they will have to completely figure out a way to use technology to their strategic advantage, where they can change the rules, instead of just using technology where they're going to be in a position where somebody else is going to eat their lunch. So I think those are the three big areas that companies have to focus on. But you have to start with the customer. You have to figure out how to make sales work in a data-driven world, and you have to figure out how to learn the language of the network if you want to survive.
Thank you, Peter. Thanks for your time. I have a few questions from our customers that are in the queue. The first question is, what will be the top 3 priorities for companies to respond for digital disruption, and what will have to change?
Well, that's a big question. I think the number one thing is I still see companies thinking, that's not for us. That's far away. That's Mickey Mouse land. That's somewhere in Silicon Valley. That's not our priority. So the first thing I would say is be aware that this could be happening very, very soon. I take the stupid example of Uber. Right? Uber is only 5 years old, and it's known everywhere because it's made all the taxi people in all the world very, very angry. Huh? But everybody knows Uber. Huh? But if you look at, say, Walmart or Kentucky Fried Chicken, it took them 50 years to become a global brand. Uber became a global brand in only 5 years. And they are truly disrupting entire industries. They're not just disrupting the taxi. They want to disrupt logistics, delivery, everything that deals with transportation. The guys at Uber, just a couple of weeks ago, bought the entire department of Carnegie Mellon, one of the top universities in the world that are building driverless cars. 49 researchers. They bought them all. They even bought the building that the guys are in. They said, you now work for us. And by the way, you don't have to move. We bought the building. So everything is being disrupted. So first of all, be aware. The second thing that you need to do is you need to figure out a way to make disruption become part of your genetics. Not just say, oh, we have 3 guys who are looking at disruption. We'll be fine because we have 3 guys looking at it. No, everybody in the company has to be aware. From the people who are selling to the people who are doing customer service, everybody needs that mindset where you have to be agile. And the last tip I would give is that I see a lot of companies with very exclusive board of directors and very, very top management teams. But many of them are older people. Huh? I mean, we are older people. We come from the old normal. But there are brilliant young people coming into your company every single day. And I would seriously give an advice to these top executives of big corporation, spend at least an hour every 2 weeks with a young 21-year-old who just joined your company. Listen to how they look at the world, because it will be fundamentally different.
Totally agree. We know that another of the questions from our customers is, we know that the buyers have now more information than ever. You talk about that, but this will not replace a salesperson, as companies need to still have the experts to help their customers' decisions. How you envision this seller of the future?
Well, that's a really good question. Seller of the future. I think I don't think the role of a salesperson is going to disappear, but I think the role is going to change. I take the same analogy in the banks, right? I mean, we used to go to a bank, a real physical bank branch, and we would see somebody, a teller, who would do an interaction with you. That's gone. I mean, if we can, we do our business electronically. But if I now go to a bank, I want somebody to talk to who will actually help me, who thinks about solutions. I want somebody who, if I need a mortgage, that will really tell me what the different options are. If I'm thinking about a new car, I want them to help me in that process. I don't want them for the transactions, I want them for the solutions. And I think that's very similar to what I think is going to happen in the sales world. Today, we still basically run sales departments, sales organizations in a very non-data-driven way. Many sales departments are built on a lot of gut feeling, and I've always done this way, and I will keep on doing that. That is gone. Sales has to become data-driven. Technology will change the profession of sales. But I do think what is happening in a world where technology becomes normal, that the human relationship actually gets a premium value. This is ironic. Huh? Mm-hmm. I mean, honestly, if I go to my bank and I have a really good conversation with a human, that will make me say that's a good bank. Instead of, online, they're all the same. So I think in a world where technology becomes normal, where digital becomes really the normal way of conducting business, I think the sales human premium is going to have a very, very profound effect. But people will, as you said in the beginning, have zero tolerance for digital failure. They want things to work. Mm-hmm. They will always also have a zero tolerance for digital ignorance. If you're my sales guy, you come to me and you don't know what you should know about me, I will not tolerate that. So I think we will get into a role where sales is going to have to embrace the premium human connection. And if you put that on top of technology, I think that is how sales will evolve.
And what you just said is totally aligned with the next question that one of the customers is asking is, now researchers are saying that this 57% of the sales cycle is known by the buyer, right? So what are the 3 tips, or which will be the 3 tips that you can give to salespeople to adopt, right?
Well, I think, first of all, to salespeople, I would say is don't fight this. Huh? That would be the number one. I mean, you have to embrace this. I think many salespeople who started a while ago, some of them are not used to using the technology to actually assist them in that. But don't try to fight it, because that's an uphill battle. The second thing I would do is figure out what you can do to know everything you can about your customer, but the whole picture about the customer. It's going back to what I said earlier, that learn the language of the river. Your customer is giving off an enormous amount of information online. Your customer is constantly giving off heat. Your customer is, just like Disney, he's not wearing magic bands, but he's giving off information. Learn the language of the river. Learn how to listen to what your customers are saying and figure out a way to do that. And the third thing is, it's not just the top executives who maybe should talk to the young people. Sales guys should do it as well. I mean, I've done sales training with guys who are 45, 50 years old. They've always done sales. And I asked them, if you have a bright 21-year-old son or daughter, and they would start sales in your company, would they do it the same way? And then they think, no. Huh? And then I ask them, have the conversation with your kids, how they would use technology. And then people start to see. So not just the executive. I think salespeople should talk to the 21-year-olds as well.
We have another question from our customers. We know that by 2023, sales leaders will have instant, always on, seamless connectivity with their salespeople, marketing, and the customer, resulting in real-time access to meaningful decision-making and actionable information. What are the top 3 must-do to companies do today?
Well, I think the real-time aspect is a very important one. So I think we're living in a world where companies will have to become real-time. And this is driven just by the market dynamics. I take the example of Amazon. Everybody knows Amazon. Amazon has this idea of if you've read this book, then you like that book. They know so well how customers respond to these triggers that they often know which book you're going to read before you know which book to read. So Amazon is actually even before real time. I think this is the #1 priority. Companies will have to figure out how to let information flow in real time through their organization. And if something happens to your customer, you need to be connected right away. The second thing, and that is the most crucial thing, is figuring out a way to actually put the information that the company already has together in a meaningful way. Companies have to think holistically about information. The information has to flow, just like it's flowing on the outside. I think somebody once said, he was one of the CEOs of Hewlett-Packard. They've had a lot. But somebody once said, if Hewlett-Packard only knew what HP knows, we would be 3 times bigger. And it's true. A big company like Hewlett-Packard, there is a lot of information, but it's not shared. So the second thing I would say is companies have to figure out how to actually make that flow. And the third is, this is not just about improving sales. This is about a holistic exercise in building innovation into the core DNA of how companies think. We've seen the statistics, 80% of the Fortune 500 companies that were there 15 years ago aren't there anymore. And this is only going to accelerate. The pace of change is only going to pick up. So the worst thing you could do is slow down. The best thing you could do is speed it all up.
Thank you, Peter. Thanks for the vision and sharing the experiences around the world. So thank you very much for being with us today. And we will now move to the next speaker. A continuación, nuestro vicepresidente global de ventas de la división de Microsoft Business Solutions, Hayden Stafford, se sube al escenario de Microsoft Sessions para comentarnos cómo Microsoft responde a esta nueva dinámica y más especialmente a cómo nos hablará de cómo transformar los equipos de ventas en top performers. Thank you, Hayden, for being here with us and for being part of these sessions. It was very interesting to listen in from Peter talking about innovation, digital disruption, and more specifically talking about how sales teams need to adapt to keep up in this new era. How do you see Microsoft responding to these changes, and how we are creating solutions that help customers to adapt to this and react to this highly connected world?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for having me here today. Peter's discussion was right on point. It was absolutely remarkable how much his point of view aligns with our strategy at Microsoft within Microsoft Dynamics. This is our business applications group where we focus on bringing the front office to the back office. When you think about sales today, the focus on sales is turning your sales performers into top performers, taking your top performers and making them exceptional, and making your bottom performers at the level of your top performers. The problem today, though, is that our sellers are spending more time not selling than they are selling. A seller actually wants to be out selling and spending time in front of the customer. The problem is they're spending 75% of their time not selling and only 25% of their time selling. So why is that? They've got a lot of back-end information that they need to process. They've got a lot of training that they need to do, a lot of administrative tasks that they need to do. What we really need our sellers doing is being more focused, stay focused, winning faster, and building trust. Those are the 3 tenets that we drive with our applications and work with our clients to solve. Staying focused, winning faster, and building trust. So when you think about a sales cycle today, it's not like yesterday's world. Peter talked about network natives, I believe was one of the words that he used, and I couldn't agree with him more. Most customers today, think about you and me, when we want to buy anything from a car to a new phone, we do the research, we understand the specs, we understand the pricing, we understand everything about it. And frankly, we can go into the store and say, this is exactly what I want, this is the price that I want it at. The same can be said in business today. Our customers are coming in well-informed, understanding our strategies, and already getting to the point, in fact, almost 60% of the way to their buying decision before they even engage a seller. So it's absolutely critical that we're providing our sellers with the data and the information that they need to have to take the conversation from 60% to 100% and be relevant. To not only be relevant, but also to be contextual. to be in the moment and understand that customer's behavior, understand what that customer's buying patterns are. But the problem is, as I said before, 75% of their time is not spent selling. Think about this for a moment. The average seller has, in the business world, has roughly a $1 million quota. And there's roughly 2,000 hours in a year in which a seller would work. If you think about the productivity lost of time flipping between applications and doing all the administrative things that are not selling, it really comes down to about $500 an hour of that selling time that they're creating towards retiring their quota. However, when there's 25% of your time spent on selling, that number actually jumps up to roughly $2,000 per hour. So if you think about it, if you can give your sales teams an hour back a week, just an hour back a week, so roughly a week a year, that's $100,000 extra incremental they can have in sales. So our mission at Microsoft is to think about applications and think about products and think about solutions that can give time back. And that time back is through sales productivity. So what is sales productivity? Sales productivity is working in the context of tools and systems that they work in every day and bringing them together in one area, in one instance. So bringing your analytics into your CRM platform, bringing your customer information into your platform, bringing your calendar, bringing your mail, bringing your instant messaging, bringing your collaboration, bringing your communication tools, so that someone has not spent time flipping between applications and looking for information that's not in one system. It's about bringing them all together. Sales productivity at Microsoft is about aggregating your customer sales information as well as the systems and tools in which they work. So let me talk a little bit about business productivity and sales productivity at Microsoft. Satya Nadella's strategy and mission for the company is to enable every individual and every organization on the planet to do more. So how do we do that? Well, we do that by bringing our technology together in three main components. Building an intelligent cloud and using analytics in a cloud environment to be able to deliver those applications real-time, agile, and at a cost-effective manner. The second element is to provide personal computing for everyone. So this is to make computing affordable and accessible to everyone. And the last piece is about transforming business, making it predictive, and making it relevant in the moment for our sellers so that they can help to transform their customers' business processes. So when you think about business transformation and you think about it in the context of sales productivity, there are three main pillars to sales productivity. As Peter talked about, there are divisions within organizations between customer service, between sales, and between marketing. They're truly divisional. Most organizations do not take advantage of the information that sits between these systems. With sales productivity and the customer engagement suite from Microsoft, we aim to bring to our customers in a social context where we have information about our customers, what they're doing, what they're saying about our company, what their buying patterns are, what their behaviors are, where they've been, what they like, what they don't like, and bringing that and surfacing that in any one of the three pillars in which we engage our customers. One, marketing. Are we enabling our marketing organizations to market smarter, market faster, and deliver information in a one-to-one nature with our customers? Number two is sales productivity. Sales productivity is about your sales organization having the systems and tools that I just talked about, all aggregated into a point where you're getting a constant flow of information from your marketing systems and the output from marketing, and you're also getting it from the third pillar, which is customer service. Customer service is one of the most important aspects of customer engagement. It's because that is the place where you touch a customer before they're a customer, while they're a customer, and after a customer when you're servicing them. And when you look at the information that you can garner across each one of those applications, each one of those functions, you build a complete profile of your customers. You understand what they liked, what they didn't like. And I talked earlier today to a couple of customers about just me. When I go to a hotel on any given day, if I walk into that hotel that I've stayed at a dozen times over the course of the year, and they say, "Hello, Hayden. Thank you for joining us. Have you ever stayed here before?" I think to myself, have I ever stayed here before? I was here just last week. The right hotels and the right service organizations know that I like sparkling water in my room, as an example, or that I prefer feather pillows over foam pillows. That is about context. That's about understanding my likes and my dislikes. So it's important to be able to capture that. And you capture that through your marketing channels, through your sales channels, and through your service channels. So sales productivity is about capturing the information from every point of contact with the customer. So as I said before, it's about transforming your sales professionals into exceptional sellers and turning your lower sellers into at least good sellers. And the way to do that is by providing access to information at the right time, at the right place. And you can do that, as I said, by staying focused, by selling faster, winning faster, and ultimately building trust. So let me comment on those 3 points. So prioritizing the right customers and making informed decisions is all about intelligence. It's about data and it's about analytics. So with a Microsoft Sales solution, with Power BI or with our Azure Machine Learning, we're able to surface the right intelligence and the right predictive analytics that gives the seller context to their customer, but also gives them the opportunity to create new leads, to upsell, to cross-sell. And it's about giving them the opportunity to look into the customer and understand exactly what they want. So you think about lead qualification, you think about sales and planning, you think about self-service and analytics. These are important for not only selling, but also managing the sales scenario with a sales manager. Secondly, it's win faster and increasing sales productivity to spend more time with customers and winning faster. A simple user experience by working in tools that they know today, be it Excel, be it tools that they use that are integrated into your CRM systems, or even using a partner systems. That's one of the amazing things about Microsoft CRM and the customer experience is that the integration of these tools doesn't need to be something new. It can be working within the context of what they use today. So when you think about winning faster, it's about collaboration with your team, being able to bring the systems together so that teams can actually collaborate on their opportunities, bring in industry experts, bring in your finance teams, and co-create, collaborate. It's also about co-authoring and embedding communications and collaboration into your tools so that you don't have to go out and find the expert in this specific industry or in that product. You're able to work together and have embedded communications and collaboration all in one system. And then finally, the last piece, which I've talked about before, and I think it's one of the most important, is building trust. Building trust is anticipating your customers' needs. It's about accessing people, the right information at the right time. Engaging customers at the right time and in their right situation makes a customer happy. It makes them feel as if you know what they want. Back to my comments about the hotel. And this right now is driven not only by analytics and insights from Azure Machine Learning as an example, or Power BI, but it's about customer engagement best practices, learning from instances of other people that have touched on that customer. In fact, several years ago, to touch on what Peter had talked about groups working in silos, I went into a customer meeting, and as I was walking up and got into the elevator, getting off the elevator were colleagues from my company from another division. Turns out we were calling on the same customer at the same time. When I went up and met the customer, he said, "Are you going to try and sell me the same stuff that the last guys did?" If you have an intelligent system and you're using a proper system that understands the context of engagement with your customers, you know what your sales teams are doing. You know what the touch points have been with the customer. So you can alleviate not only embarrassing situations, but you can get to the point more quickly. So it's really important that you are able to sell in the context and you build the customer's trust that way. So when I think about Microsoft and where we're going, I talked about working within tools and systems that people know, and CRM is certainly that case. But the most important thing for our customers to understand is that Microsoft is a very broad organization. We have a lot of systems and tools. We have a lot of wonderful technology. And right now, CRM is the center of the hub. It is the tip of the spear, if you will, in terms of the way that we engage our customers. Everything that is being done at Microsoft right now is around that customer engagement. It is around that intelligent cloud. So when we look at our R&D groups and our development teams, we are building integration around our Office 365 products. So that includes Outlook, that includes Skype for Business, that includes collaboration tools. Our Azure platform provides a very large, heterogeneous, scalable environment. That is being built for a CRM application as well. You think about our analytics products, our Azure Machine Learning products, as I talked about, or intelligent analytics through Power BI. These are embedded and integrated into the system, so an individual user can build the view into their business and the insights into their business that is most important for them. And a sales manager can build it for them, that is most important for them. So the flexibility and the integration of all these products is really important, and it gives our customers a single product instead of having to drive the integrations themselves, and it gives, frankly, the customer an option. You can either work within the CRM system, customer engagement system, or you can work within Outlook and within your mail files. And if you want to work within your mail files, you can conduct and execute CRM-like tasks, or vice versa. And that's very important to drive productivity for our customers. And then I think about what we're doing down the road, and that's the exciting thing. When you've got an intelligent cloud-driven business, you can really start to think about release schedules that come on a rapid basis, not once every year, once every 2 years, once every 3 years. We look at rapid delivery cycles of sometimes 2 and 3 times a year. And the focus for us right now is about not only thinking about where the future is, but it's also thinking about what we've learned from the past and taking the Azure learnings and bringing them into CRM, bringing CRM into Delve, bringing CRM into Skype for Business. And that's where the real pop happens for our customers. It takes away the risk of integration, takes away the cost of integration, and by all means, it streamlines the sales process. So I've given you a lot here to think about, a lot to talk about. But the most important thing is that everything that we do is geared around the customer and driven around customer insights. It's not about me selling to the customer what I think they want. It's me responding to the customers to what they actually want.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing and connecting with the conversation that we had before with Peter. So I appreciate that. So now let's move on to a few questions that I have from our customers, right, that are online, and we can address maybe one of these points. So the first one is, can you please talk about more about Microsoft sales productivity solutions compared with other solutions or products that are in the market?
Yeah. So kind of on the last point that I made, one of the great things about companies like Microsoft is a commitment to innovation, a commitment to a technology roadmap. And the one thing that Microsoft really truly brings is a broad portfolio of technology, and bringing that technology together, when you're able to bring the pieces together and integrate the systems, that's when you really have an advantage over many of our customers, or many of our competitors that have single instances. So frequently when you think about customer engagement, at the core of customer engagement is CRM. And I will tell every customer, CRM, it's a commodity. You can do it in a simple spreadsheet, but it's about the ecosystem that you build around CRM. It's about embedding customer enabling technologies, be it collaboration, communication, extendability with portal development or application development. When you have a platform that is flexible and able to deliver any sort of alteration that you want to make, that's very, very important. But the real key for us, and I think the big shift in Microsoft over the last 2 years, is an openness to our competitors. Cooperation is a key word for us right now. And what you're seeing is we're making partnerships with people and companies that we would have never done in the past. And why are we doing this? It's because it's what the customer needs. We are focusing our efforts around the customer. So what you get with Microsoft is not only an integrated stack of products from the company ourselves, but a willingness and a commitment to work with other companies, be it competition or be it partners, to round out the portfolio. So I think that's one of the key differentiators for us, is the completeness of our stack, and if it doesn't necessarily fit, a willingness to work with other third parties to be able to bring the solution together.
Awesome. I think I couldn't agree more. That is what our customers are asking. The second question that is popping up here is, listening to Peter and the experiences that you're having, is what is the simplest and most basic scenario that you recommend or that a customer to adopt?
Well, I had a very interesting conversation with a customer this morning, actually, a customer from Chile. And one of we were talking about replacing an existing system that's been in place for 10 years. And lots of integration points. I believe he said 80 plus integration points. Lots of customization. And I think now with where technology is and with the pre-packaging and the pre-configuration that comes with Microsoft products, or frankly a lot of other competitors in this space, is that the product is already mature enough and is developed enough that you should work with the out-of-the-box technology and work to configure it as opposed to completely change it and recode it. And when you look at implementations around customer engagement like Siebel in the past, you have massive configurations and massive customizations that have made it almost impossible to change. So what I make a suggestion to with all the customers is when you buy products from Microsoft, build into it, particularly with our CRM products, build into the scale. Don't come out of the gate thinking that you're going to completely change the world with new business requirements and old business requirements. Focus on what's needed most. Focus on what the customers want most. Not your customer, but your customer's customer. And when I think about that, in the case of customer engagement, I think about simple things like leads and referrals, leads management, referral management. These are very simple tasks that a lot of companies don't do well, particularly between business groups. There's an enormous uplift of money and low-hanging fruit for our customers to just think about managing opportunities, managing follow-up, and driving core CRM, basic CRM implementations to addressing your customers' needs. Customer engagement is not a big complex thing of marketing, sales, and service. You can build into that. But when you use the core products that are developed by Microsoft, prepackaged, pre-integrated, as I said, you have the functionality of social insights. You have the functionality of analytics. You have the predictive nature that's already built into the product. Use it for simple functions that will deliver meaningful results in a very short term.
Fantastic, thank you. And simple last question that a customer is asking is, what is the result for a customer can expect as soon as they implement the first result that you are seeing that the customer is implementing sales productivity solution from Microsoft?
Yeah. I think I was once told by somebody, you get 10 cents for insights, you get $1 for actions. And I think that's really relevant here when you think about sales productivity. Anyone can sell you insights. You can get insights from anything. But it's the ability to turn those insights into actions. And with sales productivity, we've seen a significant leap in our customers, not only in productivity, right? 60% productivity gains by using systems like customer engagement, sales productivity from Microsoft, but lead velocity, pipeline velocity, significant increase, up to 30% in pipeline velocity, and close rates. Close rates are up as much as 25% with many of our customers. We're really accelerating the sales cycle. So I think if you think about your leads, back to my leads and referrals suggestion from before, but if you think about your leads and your opportunities and developing them and closing them, it's about the velocity in which you move things through. Again, it's about being focused, it's about winning faster, and it's about building trust. And I think these solutions you'll find, our customers will find, are absolutely delivering the numerical results that support those softer, more tacit expectations.
Thank you. I really appreciate your time, and it was a great conversation. I hope our customers really enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Para finalizar esta sesión, le damos la palabra al señor Carlos Lerman, CEO de la empresa Lestra, que nos contará su experiencia de cómo logró adaptar el modelo de ventas en esta era digital y aumentar así la productividad de su equipo de ventas. Muchas gracias, Carlos, por estar aquí con nosotros.
Gracias.
Primero, déjame hacerte las primeras preguntas. ¿Qué dificultades y retos de negocio se enfrentó tu organización con el sistema comercial de siendo una empresa de servicios, ¿no?
Sí, gracias, José. Mira, nosotros somos una empresa de telecomunicaciones e informática, donde prácticamente el 100% de las soluciones son a la medida para cada uno de nuestros clientes, lo que significa un reto para el vendedor y poder tener a la mano todo el equipo para proveerles esa solución. Nos enfrentamos a 3 grandes retos. El número 1 fue a toda la parte colaborativa, donde pusimos al cliente en el centro en lugar del vendedor, y cada una de las organizaciones tienen que apoyar a todo ese proceso. A través de las soluciones y tecnología de Microsoft logramos tener ese nivel de colaboración a partir de que cada uno de los miembros de diferentes áreas y funciones pueden ayudarle en el proceso de la venta a nuestro ejecutivo, ¿no? El segundo reto es toda la parte de integración. Nuestra plataforma requiere de estar conectada con aproximadamente de 30 a 40 aplicativos, lo cual también representa un reto tecnológico. Y de alguna manera cada uno de ellos debe de interactuar de manera sistemática para poder proveer la solución. Y el tercer reto es toda la parte de agilidad y flexibilidad. La plataforma requeriría tener una agilidad en términos de crecimiento, en términos de flexibilidad y sobre todo que demande o que responda más bien a las demandas del mercado y cambios que nuestro negocio nos solicita.
Muchas gracias. ¿Qué valores identificaron en las soluciones para atender estos retos y necesidades de la organización?
Sí, pues mira, un factor clave es todo el ecosistema que tenemos de la tecnología Microsoft. Nosotros estamos buscando maximizar el escritorio junto con toda la plataforma tecnológica, de tal manera que sea un complemento y que pueda ser un generador de valor tanto para el ejecutivo, pero a final de cuentas el cliente debe percibir una mejor nivel de servicio, un mejor nivel de atención por parte del equipo de ventas.
Y Carlos, ¿hacia dónde están evolucionando para ser una empresa digital? ¿Cómo podemos, si puedes elaborar sobre ese tema? ¿Y dónde y cómo crees que Microsoft te puede apoyar en esta estrategia?
Claro, mira, a partir de esta plataforma o solución tecnológica, lo que nos permite es plantear nuevas iniciativas de tecnología. Un ejemplo es todo lo que tiene que ver con las direcciones de nuestros clientes. Pues eso va a cambiar a tener ya solamente un par de coordenadas que podamos geolocalizar y que nos sirva no solamente para hacer validaciones técnicas de factibilidades, de cobertura durante el proceso de venta, sino también que nos permita atender fallas cuando tengan en alguno de esos sitios. Entonces es un parteaguas en el manejo de la información. Otro ejemplo es toda la parte de imágenes que podemos recolectar en los sitios del cliente y que podemos tenerlas y hacerlas de uso para el resto de los equipos. Eso nos permite poder reaccionar y anticiparnos a situaciones que pueda tener nuestro cliente. ¿Cómo nos ayuda Microsoft? Pues definitivamente continuando con esta complemento o maximizando la tecnología que hoy tenemos y que hemos adquirido y sobre todo pues de la mano con ustedes en toda la evolución de cada uno de los componentes de la plataforma.
Muchas gracias, Carlos.
Gracias.
Muy interesante la información que nos ha compartido nuestros 3 presentadores el día de hoy. Muchas gracias. En el lobby de esta plataforma tienen los documentos disponibles que serán de su interés, que podrán descargar, guardar entre sus documentos. Hoy por la tarde tendremos la grabación disponible para que vean on demand. Y no olviden compartirla con sus colegas. Lamentablemente ya no contamos con más tiempo para poder continuar con esta conversación. Si nos envía una pregunta y no fue respondida durante el evento, por favor recuerde que le podemos enviar un correo electrónico y nuevamente gracias, Carlos, por este tiempo.
Gracias.